我々は予備的な動員を開始した。長距離爆撃機、空中給油機、そして後方支援部隊の事前展開が進行中だ。USS エイブラハム・リンカーン空母打撃群は南シナ海から中東へ移動しており、セントゴムの抑止力を強化し、即応的な打撃能力を提供する。一方、イラン側では革命防衛隊が最高度の防衛体制に入り、ババアスレママスルンのような長距離防空システムを含む仮想防空網およびヒズボラ、フーシ派などのシーア派武装組織を含む地域全体の勢力により、彼らは米軍の航空作戦に対抗する構え。中国とロシアは我々の次の行動を注視している。
それは何だ？
それは上の判断だ。クソ、中東での長期化した紛争は中国に台湾へ動く隙を与えかねない。全てを遅れ、一撃で終わらせる。体制を切り落とす。
アメリカは間もなく攻撃に踏み切る。狙いは体制の背骨を折ることだ。その好機は長くは続かない。
他の勢力はどうだ？あの規模の反応に我々は備えがあるのか？
モスクワは語り、北京は見守る。どちらもテヘランのために血を流すことはない。重要なのは革命防衛隊がつまずいた後、何が空白を埋めるかだ。
君たちのアイアンドームが持ちこたえる限り、私は移行期を引き継ぐ準備ができている。
忘れるな、プリンス・レザ。無名の淵から君を引き上げたのは我々だ。アイアンドームはこれらの野蛮人に対しイスラエルの防衛線を守り抜いてきた。そしてこれからもそうする。それは破られない。
我々はオデーサの港湾、エネルギー施設、橋梁といった重要インフラを標的にしてきた。都市の鉄壁の防衛線から遠く離れた位置で地上部隊が戦線を維持する一方、これらの攻撃はウクライナの経済を消耗させ続けている。
支援は立つ。オデーサに残るものを削ぎ落とし、最後にキーウは交渉の席に膝をつく。
精神を折れ。
共に取り組めることを期待しています。
連日、我々は協調の瞬間を刻む。それは両国が共に前へ進む覚悟を世界に示す合図だ。協調とは単なるものの交換ではない。それは信頼を共有すること、そして目的を共有することだ。中国は確信を持って動く。忍耐を持って、自ら誇示する必要のない力とともに。この現実を理解する者にとって、進歩とは実にたやすい。
That was amazing. Can I say something? Guys, remember we talked about the new world order that is coming? that we're walking into a Cold War with Russia and China on one side and United States on another, and how Iran is going to be the key to come to the side of America before we enter that Cold War. This animation was basically showing all that. And by the way, Europe and Canada are moving closer to China away from United States. So it's demonstrating that as well.
So like we haven't really spoken about this because this is more focused on Iran. But guys, yesterday, Mark Carney at Davos, like Mark Carney basically called out the United States. He said that United States no longer runs, you know, I don't know, he said some like garbage nonsense. Mark Carney's the, you know, clown Prime Minister of Canada. I'm actually embarrassed to be Canadian, by the way. Like based off of what Mark Carney has been doing the last few days, I'm literally embarrassed to be Canadian. I don't know. I might have to like see if there's a way to like exchange my passport citizenship for United States, because Mark Carney, well, Armin, a few days ago, Mark Carney was like in Qatar, and he's like, oh, we're proud to work with Qatar because Qatar is a force for peace. And I'm like, what? Qatar?
What?
Yeah, he said that. Mark Carney said Qatar is a force for peace. And then yesterday in Davos, Mark Carney attacked the United States. And then he said that, you know, we're gonna build our relationship with China. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what is happening right now? China is literally like funding and giving like supplies to the Islamic regime that's like murdering Iranians.
Exactly. And this is why Iran is so important, because as we're moving to this phase, as Canada and Europe are moving closer to China and away from United States, Iran is moving closer to United States. So Iran is going to become a great nation that is eager to move closer to United States. That's why Iran is such an important piece of this puzzle in this new global order.
And prior to 1979, Iran was the 5th most powerful military in the world. So not only does Iran have like all the resources that anyone could want, but it was also the 5th most powerful military, and the United States, not only allies with the United States, but the United States also sent them the F something jets. I don't know which one, but it was like, was it the 35?
To which country?
Iran. When the Shah was there. When the Shah
no, those
are
are F-16s. F-16s. That was a long time ago. I thought you were talking.
Sorry, no, F-14. I think it was F-14. It was F-14. So, you know, at a time, 14 or 16. We'll have to double check, but it was one of them. F-14. So
F-14 Tomcat.
Yeah. So okay. So literally back in the 1970s, there was only one of the very few countries that the United States was sending its, you know, American military aircraft to use was Iran, because Iran was such a powerful ally of the United States. And so like this is really significant, right? Because Armin is right. When Iran is free, that will be a game changer when it comes to the new world order or whatever, because I cannot believe I cannot believe that Mark Carney is saying Qatar is a force for peace, and then I cannot understand how he yesterday said that, like, you know, President Trump is no longer the leader of the free world, and Mark Carney is now the leader. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because let's put it this way, like, if, you know, and I say this as a Canadian, right? If you know, United States and Canada went to war, God forbid, people have already done like the battle analysis, the war analysis. Canada would be conquered in like half a day. So, I mean, it's just, it's so ridiculous that Mark Carney is saying this. I cannot believe he's siding with the communists and the Russians and the Qataris over the United States. Like, such a betrayal. But guys, I can tell you that most Canadians, we don't feel that way. Most of us are actually really upset that our political leadership, not only at the federal level, but also in Ontario, like, you know, Doug Ford, which I like to call Fat Trudeau. Fat Trudeau is also like attacking President Trump. And I'm like, really? Like, so that's the angle we're going to take with literally like our greatest ally. So I'm, you know what? As a former Canadian politician, I've never been more embarrassed to be Canadian right now, because the policy decisions that our current political leadership are taking in Canada, I think it's atrocious. And Canadians and Americans, we've always been like this. Like we're pretty much like brothers and sisters, right? Like we're pretty much the same. And I just find it shameful that we have these like globalist liberal politicians who are creating this divide between Americans and Canadians. So it's so messed up.
I would, Goldie, let me know if this is correct, because I think Canada doesn't even make sense as a country if it wasn't for United States. Like the Canada being viable as a country as a whole is because of United States.
Because United States protects us, right? Like, it's literally like Canada is peaceful and like our borders are safe and everything is literally because the United States is right there, right? So I mean, because our listen, I'm proud of our military. I'm proud of our servicemen. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a knock on Canadian armed forces, but I mean, let's be real here. The reality is that if there was going to be a war, right? Like it would be over in half a day. I'm just saying. So the fact that like Mark Carney is going out and like attacking President Trump and taking the side of China, which is like a communist dictatorship, it's messed up. But I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because Mark Carney back in the summer, right? Like he went out to like some event organized by a group with links to the Muslim Brotherhood. And he's like, Muslim values are Canadian values, right? So can we watch that again? Because that was epic. You're on mute.
I said yes, please. That was amazing. That was epic.
I would, yeah. So because also, but you know what I love about this video, Armin, what I really, really enjoyed about this video is that when it came to the part about Iran, it seems as if the world has accepted what Iranians want, which is we want King Reza Pahlavi to transition us from an Islamic dictatorship to a democracy, right? Like never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would see like a Japanese anime that recognizes King Reza Pahlavi as the leader of the Iranian national revolution and the transitional leader, right? Like that's huge.
Yeah,
like, this is what we wanted. This is what and now I feel like the whole world is on our side.
Yeah, just 2 or 3 years ago, if like I remember on the Persian side, if like Reuters just mentioned Prince Reza Pahlavi, we would be jumping up and down. I'm like, oh my God, this article, Reuters mentioned Prince Reza Pahlavi. Yes, this is so good. And now he's just everywhere. Like the whole world recognizes him as the representative of the Iranian people. Like, look at the progress we made.
And something, given all of the horrific videos that are coming out, and we are going to go through some of those very, very horrific and sad videos as well, guys. We are going to play them, but despite the sadness and despite the emotional toll, seeing stuff like this, it really lifts our mood. It really lifts our spirit because it lets us know that we are on the right track, and all of the innocent Iranians who've given up their lives for freedom, their murder is not in vain because they risked their lives and they lost their lives to make sure that King Reza Pahlavi comes back to Iran and leads us to a secular democracy. And I feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's inevitable now.
All right, let's watch this again. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's watch.
I cannot believe they called out Mark Carney. I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. You guys wanted the link. Okay, let me put the link. Let me put the link in the chat. I'll put it in both YouTube live streams. There you go. Okay, so you guys both have the link now.
Thank you, Goldie.
You're welcome.
我々は予備的な動員を開始した。長距離爆撃機、空中給油機、そして後方支援部隊の事前展開が進行中だ。USS エイブラハム・リンカーン空母打撃群は南シナ海から中東へ移動しており、セントゴムの抑止力を強化し、即応的な打撃能力を提供する。一方、イラン側では革命防衛隊が最高度の防衛態勢に入っている。 ババアするままするんのような長距離防空システムを含む仮想防空網およびヒズボラ、フーシ派などのシーア派武装組織を含む地域全体の勢力により、彼らは米軍の航空作戦に対抗する構え。中国とロシアは我々の次の行動を注視している。
それは何だ？
それは上の判断だ。クソ、中東での長期化した紛争は中国に台湾へ動く隙を与えかねない。全てを遅れ、一撃で終わらせる。体制を切り落とす。
アメリカは間もなく攻撃に踏み切る。狙いは体制の背骨を折ることだ。その好機は長くは続かない。
他の勢力はどうだ？あの規模の反応に我々は備えがあるのか？
モスクワは語り、北京は見守る。どちらもテヘランのために血を流すことはない。重要なのは革命防衛隊がつまずいた後、何が空白を埋めるかだ。
君たちのアイアンドームが持ちこたえる限り、私は移行期を引き継ぐ準備ができている。
忘れるな、プリンスレザ。無名の淵から君を引き上げたのは我々だ。アイアンドームはこれらの野蛮人に対しイスラエルの防衛線を守り抜いてきた。そしてこれからもそうする。それは破られない。
我々はオデーサの港湾、エネルギー施設、橋梁といった重要インフラを標的にしてきた。都市の鉄壁の防衛線から遠く離れた位置で地上部隊が戦線を維持する一方、これらの攻撃はウクライナの経済を消耗させ続けている。
支援は立つ。オデーサに残るものを削ぎ落とし、最後にキーウは交渉の席に膝をつく。精神を折れ。
共に取り組めることを期待しています。
You gotta be calling out Carney. You're calling out Mark Carney.
連日、我々は協調の瞬間を刻む。それは両国が共に前へ進む覚悟を世界に示す合図だ。
Now, honestly, Traitor Carney.
協調とは単なるものの交換ではない。それは信頼を共有すること、そして目的を共有することだ。中国は確信を持って動く。忍耐を持って、自ら誇示する必要のない力とともに。この現実を理解する者にとって、進歩とは実にたやすい。
So good.
So good, so
Oh my
good.
God.
Can I just add one more point, guys? Remember I said that China and Russia will just make statements against what United States, but they won't bleed for the Islamic Republic. That's exactly what was said in this animation as well. I'm so glad that they're making the animations like this. This is going to make a lot more people that don't usually follow the news get updated with animations like this. This is good.
And then people are going to be like, "Oh, wait, who's Prince Reza? Who's Prince Reza?"
Yeah, who's this guy? Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I love this. I'm going to say something really quickly in Persian. So, ببین آرمین این چپگرا و سفاسد برای 47 سال سعی کردن که بگن که اونا صدای ملت ایران هستند، چقدر پول خرج کردن، چقدر همه جا رفتن، همه کاری میخواستن بکنن، ولی ببین در عرض 3 هفته همه دنیا فهمید که ما کیو میخوایم و رهبر ما کیه و ما پادشاهمون رو میخوایم. ببین
هر چی خرج کردن رفت رو هوا،
رفت تو هوا واقعا. یعنی اصلا یه جورایی یه خوشحال میشن، دلم یه کمی خنک میشه. ما چقدر زجر کشیدیم با این مزدوران، خیلی. So oh my gosh, okay.
اونا پول دادن، مردم ایران خون دادن که شاهشون رو به دنیا نشون بدن.
واقعا اونا پول دادن که دروغ بگن، مردم ایران خون دادن دیگه.
خون مردم ایران بر پول اونا پیروزه.
نور بر تاریکی پیروز است. شهبانو همیشه اینو میگه. All right. Okay, so we're going to go to this interview because this is like the main thing I wanted to show. This is the priority. So this is an interview with His Royal Highness, or as you guys saw him in the anime, what did they say? Prince Reza. Is that how they said it in Japanese? Prince Reza? Prince Reza? I don't know how to go. But, so here you go. This is an interview from yesterday on Newsmax.
For more than 3 weeks, the Iranian regime has been slaughtering demonstrators. The demonstrators want freedom and a better future. Instead, Iranian forces have been gunning them down. The regime admits that in just the last 3 weeks, 5,000 people have been killed, but that number is likely much higher. That's because the Iranian regime has ordered a near total internet blackout. It's impossible to get accurate information out of Iran with the internet down. Iranian businesses are struggling to stay afloat. Iran has severe economic problems, including a currency that has collapsed. In 1979, when the Islamic Revolution toppled the Shah, $1 was worth 70 Iranian rials. Today, $1 is worth about 1.1 million rials. Now, despite attempts from the regime to silence the demonstrators, late Sunday night, hackers disrupted Iranian state TV. The regime's channels played a message from the exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. The hackers also showed images of the massacres. Earlier, I spoke with the exiled Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi. Nice to see you, sir.
It's good to see you again.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Lots going on.
Indeed.
I read your tweet today. You are being, as you always are, speaking to the Ayatollah, or are you speaking to the Iranian people, or both?
Well, this was a very clear message to...
Sorry, I'm just going to pause. We're only about a minute in. I'm going to go back to the beginning because Potipto messaged me and he wanted to join. So, welcome, Potipto. Durud.
درود. سلام گرم من به تمام دوستان عزیزی که اینجا هستن و شنونده و بیننده های برنامه.
Welcome so much. So Potipto says hello. For those of you who don't know, who worked with us yesterday, Potipto is part of the Immortal Guard, one of the freedom fighters in occupied Iran. So he's here with us. So Potipto, we haven't watched this video yet, this interview from King Reza Pahlavi from yesterday. So we're just going to watch this. And then we'll get to you and any updates there. But welcome. Thank you for being here.
For more than 3 weeks, the Iranian regime has been slaughtering demonstrators. The demonstrators want freedom and a better future. Instead, Iranian forces have been gunning them down. The regime admits that in just the last 3 weeks, 5,000 people have been killed, but that number is likely much higher. That's because the Iranian regime has ordered a near total internet blackout. It's impossible to get accurate information out of Iran with the internet down. Iranian businesses are struggling to stay afloat. Iran has severe economic problems, including a currency that has collapsed. In 1979, when the Islamic Revolution toppled the Shah, $1 was worth 70 Iranian rials. Today, $1 is worth about 1.1 million rials. Now, despite attempts from the regime to silence the demonstrators, late Sunday night, hackers disrupted Iranian state TV. The regime's channels played a message from the exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. The hackers also showed images of the massacres. Earlier, I spoke with the exiled Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi. Nice to see you, sir.
It's good to see you again.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Lots going on.
Indeed.
I read your tweet today. You are being, as you always are, speaking to the Ayatollah, or are you speaking to the Iranian people, or both?
Well, this was a very clear message to the supreme leader that this genocide will never be forgotten, that it's a regime that has waged war on its own citizenry, shooting at them with assault military weapons, going to people's home and clobbering them there, shooting at people on the rooftop or chanting slogans at night. It is really a war scene, what's happening in Iran right now. And the expectation that these brave Iranians that are totally defenseless in terms of being unarmed vis-a-vis such a regime is, when is the cavalry going to show up and give us at least a fair chance to combat this regime and put an end to it? The momentum is, of course, still there, albeit that now people have to wait until the next opportunity to come to the streets. But the battle goes on. And as I said in my message, there's no turning back, and we will fight and fight until we finally prevail. And hopefully we'll get some help on our way.
Well, going back to 2009, people took to the streets, and many of us thought that that was the big opportunity for the regime to fall. President Obama did not step in. And now, fast forward to now, we have people taking to the streets again. People are being shot and killed, as best we can figure out from information coming out of Iran. President Trump has spoken big words, but so far, no action. Is there something you think he should do specifically?
Well, the president clearly stated that if the regime was to use violence against its own people, it will not be unanswered. That pretty much leads one to believe that what is the element that will be a necessity to come to the people's help, if that's the intent. And right now, we clearly see that the regime is using every aspect of its repressive arms, and most of the times it's the IRGC or the Ministry of Intelligence or any institution that backs the thugs that they bring in to repress people that need to be neutralized. So if there is going to be a strike, I suppose it's going to be targeting those institutions that have been directly involved in this massacre. And on top of it, you have other elements that the regime is bringing from the outside, from Afghanistan, from Lebanon, from Iraq, to do the dirty job. And that shows us that the regime is not necessarily capable of having its own manpower to do that, but those are also elements that is what the people have to counter and face. So altogether, I think what this president, based on what he said, is to show that his words is a man of his words, and contrary to what Obama didn't do, and pretty much threw the people under the bus in 2009, he's not President Obama, and in this case, he will act based on his promise. This is what everybody expects to see happen sooner rather than later, because we are holding the fort everywhere we can, but at some point the cavalry needs to arrive.
The difficulty that we in the media have, and everybody has, is that the regime has been so effective at shutting down any sort of communication in and out of Iran. So it's like, we're getting it, second and third hand, although Iran, this regime has a history of doing public hangings to intimidate people. I think the Ayatollah admitted that they've already killed 3,000. The numbers are bigger, but he himself says 3,000. One is too many. So that's been such a problem. Are you able to, I assume that you have a better communication channel to find out what's going on?
We managed to get some information, despite the fact that, of course, there's been a massive shutdown of the internet, even telephone lines, but information does trickle out. And for what we have gotten in the middle of all this has been flabbergasting information. I think the death toll is well over 30,000 as of now, maybe even more. And that's throughout the country. But Tehran alone counts more than 12,000, as it was reported about 3 days ago. Now, I think that Starlink has a key element to keep us connected, and Elon Musk has done his part, and we thank him for that. And eventually, once the information is back on, hopefully the media will also be able to get all the reports that have been pretty much impossible to obtain. But I'm sure you're going to get those facts very soon.
But that's too late off. That's after people have been killed, regrettably.
Well, yeah, of course, it's already done. But the whole point is exactly, this is what we have to to deal with. And as such, I think it's important for the whole world to realize that this is a regime that has no reservation in massacring thousands of people. It's a war. It's a war waged on the Iranian people. It's not just anymore. Some people report, well, there are protests and there's economic malaise and so on and so forth. It's beyond that. This is an actual war, and we need to win that war. It's a little bit like, you know, when during the occupation, the French were having the resistance, and at some point, you know, there has to be some kind of intervention to fight back and give them a chance to success. And that's how the Nazis were defeated after all. This is another case where our country has been occupied by a regime that is not even Iranian. They are anti-Iranian. It's a totally different conflict.
Are the protests slowing down? Because I know that, I mean, there was another incident, 2022, when the young woman didn't wear her hijab correctly, and she was beaten to death or killed, I forgot how, by the police, morality police. And then things died down somewhat. Is the protest, are we at a point in the protest where things are slowing down, or is it still very heated? The protesters are still taking to the street in giant numbers? I think that the momentum is still there, although you can call it a tactical retreat, so people are not massacred on the streets, not the chanting slogans at night. I called for that to basically go in other directions where we can still bring pressure on the regime. It's not just being on the street and chanting slogans that is necessary. We need to have labor strikes. We need to be able to paralyze the regime from within. These are other elements that we're working on together with the activists back home. And I think that's where the game changer would be, back to the question of if President Trump does act on his promise, how can we neutralize the forces that the regime utilizes against its own population? That will be tipping the balance in favor of the people, and then you can expect people to be back on the streets and then take over strategic entities that will lead ultimately to the regime collapse, which is, after all, what we're pushing for. You know, I'm old enough to remember pre-1979 Iran, when your father was the leader. You see pictures from the 70s, and they're dressed just like we are here in the United States, and they seem to be enjoying the same things that we are. Now you see pictures, and especially for women in particular. I mean, I realize the men are being either hanged in public and everything, but when you see the pictures, you really get an idea. But so many Americans are not old enough to remember what Iran used to be. And it has a rich culture in music and art and everything, and a completely different country than what we're seeing now. Well, I'm glad you raised this, Greta, because in fact, you know, maybe for the average American, they said, why should we get involved? Why should we be concerned about Iran? In what way does it impact us? Well, let me tell you how it impacts America. Many Americans who remember those days saw a country that was a friend of the United States, that provided its part of bringing stability to the region, a country that had cordial relationship with its neighbors, the only country in the region that had no qualms or issues with the state of Israel. All of that changed in 1979. A regime that came with the slogan of death to America, death to Israel. This is a regime that, as of yesterday, had a threat to actually threaten the American presidents as a retaliation or revenge factor. This is a country where Iranian Americans, who have been the first to come and seek refuge, and now many of them run this country, what they represent in terms of having a possibility to reconnect America to Iran. Iran, in the first 15 years, we estimate, will bring to America about $1 trillion worth of revenue just by doing business in Iran, a country that you've been deprived of having an opportunity to work with. Why? Because you have a very hostile regime. But the Iranian people are friends of America. And I tell you that in September 11th, when that terrorist attack occurred, we were the only people in the region to hold candlelight vigil that night in support and sympathy to the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attack. These are the same people on the streets today fighting for their freedom, because they want to tell the world that unlike this regime, we want to be friends, we want to be partners. And this will be something
that we're not sending our troops again. We'll have a reliable, viable partner that will be doing something that it is our own national security interest as well as economic interest. That's really what's at stake. You're not doing it necessarily out of compassion. You can also do it because it is in the best interest of America. And this is something that today's generation of America needs to understand.
There's also one other thing, besides the question of compassion and morality and the question of the economic partnership that we can have and the relationship we did have, is Iran is in this hemisphere. It has been financing Hezbollah. Hezbollah is all over Venezuela. I mean, it's not like it's financed Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. I mean, it has not, the regime has not kept its terrible works within its own borders. It has been spreading it all over.
Exactly. And even worse than that, Greta, I was telling British officials of the mapping of all the institutions that the regime is using, again, under Ali Khamenei's leadership, that are specifically threatening British citizens via networks of so-called charity centers or educational center or what have you, sleeper cells that they have activated in Britain. The same thing exists also in the United States. Not necessarily nearby in Venezuela, but even on American soil as we speak.
Do you have any fear? I think your cousin was assassinated, and according to the State Department, there have been 360 assassinations around the world since 1979 by Iran. John Bolton, former national security advisor, has had threats. President Trump has had threats. Do you fear?
Greta, I've been, from day one, born in an environment where terrorism became a method of enemies, and security threats has always been part of my political life.
Well, you were just a boy when you came here, pretty much, pretty young.
No, what I'm saying is that it's part of the job. You have to face the reality that security is a big concern, but it doesn't impact me personally as something that would deter me from doing what I have to do. When you're fighting for a just cause, you have to be able to put your life on the line, and I do. But I do it responsibly, in the sense of making sure that we take all the necessary precautions. But at some point, you have to be able to understand that it's the ultimate sacrifice that you have to be prepared to do, and I am.
The Ayatollah is 86. I don't know if he's going to fall in the next weeks, days. I don't know what President Trump's going to do or not do, but eventually age will get the best of him. I don't, it gets the best of all of us. But someone's got to lead. He's got a son who's about 56, who's as extremist as he is. Do you anticipate that you would go back and want to lead your country?
Look, the reason I am leading this movement is because my compatriots have basically called my name. They have actually, not that this is new, I've been doing this for 46 years, but specifically in the last months, it was very clear that this is the name they call. This is the person they want to step in, and I have. I'm discharging my duty to lead the transition, and my commitment is to make sure that we are moving away from this regime, which is a clerical dictatorship, towards a secular democratic future. My entire plan is to make sure that we can have a smooth transition, to address that period of transition post-regime collapse, to make sure the country is stabilized, to make sure that people are secure, to make sure that we have the maximum possible defections from the regime that can survive regime change, so long as they haven't been involved criminally and have the blood of the Iranian people on their hand. In other words, unlike what happened in post-Saddam Hussein de-Baathification, this time we're trying to include as many people as possible within the military and paramilitary forces, as well as the civil bureaucracy. All of this so we can elect a parliament that will be a constitutional assembly, if you will, to debate what is the final form that the Iranian people would like to have by means of free and fair elections. Managing this entire process is my role in this transition, and I've proposed a plan of action that has been explained quite copiously under an organization called IPP, which is Iran Prosperity Project, which is focused on the immediate future, the first 100 days, what needs to be done. This is something that basically is a scenario of how do we move from this regime and ultimately get to a final point where Iran is finally a country where we have a full-fledged secular democratic government to replace this clerical dictatorship.
Well, we've had 50 years, almost 50 years of this, so we'll see what happens, whether President Trump does anything or others do something. But obviously, a terrible situation in Iran and has been. But thank you, sir, for joining me. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you, Kata, with pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Perfect as usual.
Perfect as usual.
Yeah.
Such a good way of putting that. Guys, we have actually what a nice surprise. Not only do we have Potipto with us, but we have a second Iranian from inside occupied Iran. Armin, do you want to introduce your colleague, your friend?
Well, I call him by something else, but he decided to call himself Strawman today. So hi, Strawman. Oh.
All right, Potipto's connection isn't the greatest, so if he drops, he'll come back.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Strawman also just sent me a screenshot. His connection is not good either. So,
Yeah.
Strawman, can you hear us? Open your mic. Oh. Strawman, open your mic. Let me message him on Telegram. Oh, there we go. Go ahead. Speak. I don't know why we have. Let me message. Yeah, I can't
All right.
hear.
Well, maybe while you figure that out, Potipto, welcome. How are you? Oh, see, guys, this is the thing. Like the connection is terrible in Iran right now, so it's difficult for people. I mean, this is what it's like to live in an occupied dictatorship, right? When you're in a dictatorship, and they've shut down the internet.
Yeah.
Potipto, can you hear us?
Potipto. Oh my God.
You might have to.
So Strawman is telling me on Telegram that he was speaking.
We couldn't hear him. His mic is muted.
He says, "Let me reboot the browser."
Yeah, maybe go and come back.
I got news about my dad.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, oh, Potipto?
Well, give us the news about your father.
Okay. So he called my brother. He's in. I'm not gonna say where he is. And my brother's saying he's doing okay. He sounded as lively as always.
Okay.
I said, "Is he okay?" He said, "He's perfect. He's perfectly okay." And salam resund to all of us. So he's fine.
Okay. Happy to hear that. Potipto, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for having me here.
Of course, you're always welcome. This is your space. Potipto, you've seen the website.
Yeah, actually, I'm joining to talk about what's happened in the website. We have more than 1,000 new profiles in website.
Yeah.
Amazing. Surush is there. That's so good. Oh my God, he's been excusing the crimes of the regime. He's been on our nerves in the past 2 days. I'm so glad he's on there. Oh my God, thank God.
So Potipto, of course, you're always welcome to speak in Persian, and we'll translate, so no problem there. But before you get into the website, I just wanted to say that this website has been like exploding, right? Like it's gone viral. Mahyar Tusi, he promoted it on his live earlier today, and but people have there's two feedback that people wanted me to pass along to you and the team who's working on this website. The first one is that people are waiting for an English language because apparently this Iranian Nazi hunter website is very, very popular among non-Iranians. And so they want to be able to follow along as well. So that's the first request is, if possible, to have an English version. And then the second request is because a lot of, and I said this to you, but because a lot of people are spamming the website now, they're putting up fake profiles and, just random people. People are wondering if there's a way to make sure that when someone is uploaded, that it doesn't automatically go on the website, that first, it's reviewed by a mod or something, and then it's accepted to be put on the website.
ببینید من برای شما توضیح میدم بعد شما مخاطب رو در واقع مفهوم بکنید در موردش. اولا اینکه ازت خواهش میکنم همین الان که روی حالا منم میتونم اسکرین شیر بکنم اگه خواستی شما هم راحتی این کار رو انجام بده. اول ازت خواهش میکنم روی قسمت فیلترها کلیک بکن.
So she's selecting the filters.
آره اون قسمت تایید مدیر یا در واقع پایینتر آره اشاره که بکنید ببینید 3 تا سکشن داره. all در واقع تایید شده و تایید نشده. شما وقتی که فیلتر رو بزنید و بزنید روی تایید شده
so verified.
We're filtering
verified.
we're filtering
Absolutely.
for verified only.
Verified. Yeah.
I have to, you know what? I can't use it when it's so I have to do it in Persian because it doesn't work when I translate. Wait.
No
so
problem.
let me just go here. Okay,
Okay,
so
you want me
You
to
just want
translate
to
what's
show the
happening?
result. Yeah.
Taid shode, there we go. So this is no. Taid shode?
Yeah, that's correct. These are
Okay.
the approved ones.
No,
Taid
but
shode
it's not
approved.
yet.
نه تایید شده اون نسبت میکنم یه باگی شما داره. بذاری من بزنم اینجا روی
تایید نشده تایید شده. It's not. There's a bug.
آره این یه
Because it was working earlier when Mahir Tusi did it, it was working.
درسته. الان در واقع ما 3 تا فاکتور داریم. وضعیت بالا زده تایید مدیر. خب درست گفتیم باگ نیست من اشتباه کردم. فیلتر رو شما بزنید یه بار دیگه. ما یه تایید شده و تایید نشده داریم. اونایی که تایید نشده هستن تایید نشده رو انتخاب بکنید. تایید نشده پایین.
Okay, بذار clear بکنم.
آفرین.
That's a good idea.
آره اینا کسایی هستن که اومدن توی پروسه بررسی و در حال حاضر رد شدن. درسته؟ دوباره فیلتر رو روش کلیک بکنیم.
Oh, so these were rejected. These are the rejected ones.
Or
Okay.
non-verified. آره دوباره فیلتر رو بزنید لطفا.
Okay, so let me just explain to our viewers here. So what this is in the filter, these are people whose names and images were submitted, but it was rejected, right? So like the mods or whoever, like they review it and they're like, no, this is fake, like this is not legitimate. So okay. And then if I go تایید شده.
حالا بیاین اون بالا کنار فیلتر به جای جدیدترین بزنین بیشترین آرا سمت راست بعد بیشترین رد. اوکی.
Mamdani is on the top of the list.
آفرین. الان اینجا ما تحت بررسی داریم، شناسایی شده داریم. درسته؟
So what this is, guys, let me just explain this. So what this is that you have, so when people submit a name, so this is what I was explaining when I said the Nazi hunting website is very democratic. So you can see like these, like you guys, I mean, it's Persian, so you can't read it, but hopefully when the English version comes out, you'll be able to see. But these are votes, okay? So when someone submits a name, and then with the whatever supporting documentation, Iranians can actually vote on this. So for example, this person, this is green here. So that means this has been verified. So this is confirmed that she's working with the regime. And then there's a voting system here. So right now, 624 people have voted to say that, yes, she is working with the regime. So now it's 625 because I just voted.
Location. Top left, you can see the location as well.
London. ببینید اون بالا نوشته شهادت میدهم و کنارش نوشته من اطلاع دارم. درسته؟ ما اگه قرار باشه کسی رو دادگاهی بکنیم نیاز به شهادت فردی داریم، پس قرار نیست فقط با یه عکس و مشخصات اینجا باشه. اینجا شما میتونی اگر نزدیک بودی شهادت بدی و اونورم اطلاعات بیشتری داری بتونی داشته باشی. مسئله که میخوام بهتون بگم اینه که
اینو توضیح بدم. ببخشید. So guys, what he's saying on the top here is that these two options here, so the purple one, that if you have additional information that you want to submit, like additional documents or screenshots or something, you can do it here. And then this one here is if you want to like shahadat, if you want to testify. So let's say in the future, if you want to testify, you can click on that. So
in court, testify in court.
Yeah, testify in court. So that's how like People are gathering. So it's basically like a crowdfunding. It's like a crowdsourcing way of just gathering evidence and documentation. Yeah.
Any plans to do it also in English at some point? Do you think that would be?
آره حتما این کارو میخوام همینو بدم در واقع. حالا یه بک بزنین، من یه خبر جالبم بهتون بدم.
Okay.
دوباره اون جدیدترین رو بکنین، بیشترین رای.
They're sorting based on the highest votes.
یکم اسکرول کنین پایینتر.
Guys, for the viewers, you remember this guy, right? Remember this guy?
Marandi.
Pinky finger guy on Piers Morgan? That's him.
یه نکته جالبی که هست تو وبسایت ما الان یه سری آدما از خامنه ای هم منفورترن، مثلا مرندی یکیشونه. اینا رأی بیشتری از خامنه ای آوردن. حالا بیایم پایینتر یکم پایینتر لطفا. یکم پایینتر. اینجا جایی که جالب میشه. ما رادان رو داریم، آقای محمدی رو داریم. روی رادان کلیک بکنید.
Guys, this is the head of the anti-rape police.
بیایم پایین. اطلاعاتی که ازش در اومده، آدرس خونش در اومده، شماره ملیش در اومده، شماره تلفنش در اومده.
Guys, they have their address, the phone number.
Armin, let him speak and then you can translate. ببخشید اینو دوباره بگو.
تو کمتر از 24 ساعت ما تونستیم یه کسی مثل رادان و آدرس خونش، شماره تلفنش، مشخصاتی مثل کد ملی و خانواده‌اش رو دست بیاریم. اینجا جاییه که سایت پرفورمنس خودش نشون میده، نه اون که 4 تا ترول بیان یه عکس بذارن. پوینت اینه.
Oh wow. Okay, Armin, this is you have to translate this part.
Okay, guys, so in less than 24 hours after adding his name to the website, they found his address, his phone number, his national security number. He is geographic coordinates, everything they managed to as soon as they added to. So wow. By the way, YouTube, these are terrorists, so don't strike us for doxing. This is like, we're just reporting the news. This is already public information. We're not doxing anybody. This is already public.
We're Nazi hunting. We're Nazi hunting. So this is really interesting. So guys, so what Potipto's saying, like social insurance number, so what Potipto is saying is that within 24 hours of someone submitting like Rodon, so for example, we already know that this guy is affiliated with the Islamic regime, right? Because he's the head of the IRGC. So it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. But what Potipto is saying is that it's not necessarily just about the photo or the documentation. It's about the coordinates and how to identify them, where they live, where people can go to capture them, right? So that and then Potipto, so do you think that perhaps, I mean, whoever like submitted this info has to be someone close to him, right? So maybe someone already saw that like his info was put there, and then they went ahead and then they just filled in the blanks with like his address and his phone number and things like that.
کلا در واقع ما یکی از ویژنامون همینه که وقتی اطلاعات اینا بیاد روی اینترنت و ببینن شناسایی شدن، آدم‌های اطرافشون شروع کنن به همکاری کردن. حالا با اون همکاری یه سری امکانات هم بگیرن که حالا من توی وایس هم براتون توضیح دادم. یعنی در واقع این وبسایت داره به صورت ارگانیک و به صورت مویرگی گسترش پیدا میکنه و تو کمتر از 24 ساعت هم همچین تارگتی رو زده. من فکر نمی‌کنم مثلا حالا به غیر از صحبت کلی توی 24 ساعت گذشته کاری اینقدر اثرگذارتر دیده باشه. اگه یه بک بزنی
بذار آرمین رو لطفاً ترجمه بکنه.
So he's saying that's the entire point. The vision is for once this information is more gets out there more, so that the people around these people will notice this and also contribute to it and help it grow. And the point is for this to organically grow and expand as more people see it and get involved. درست بودین؟
بله شما در نظر بگیر ما به جای اینکه یه دادگاه و محکمه قدیمی داشته باشیم، الان یک محکمه های تک داریم که تمام آدمای دنیا میتونن شرکت بکنن توش، میتونن هیئت جوری باشن، میتونن رأی هم صادر بکنن و یه اتفاق خیلی بزرگی. و خیلی ممنون از شما که توی قسمت اول و اصلیش همراه ما بودید. یه بک میزنید لطفاً.
Should I translate that part or not? Not necessary.
Yeah, you can translate that.
So he said that the whole point is that unlike like a traditional court, we have something like a digital, more modern version of it where more people can be involved and provide evidence and testimony and stuff like that. Yeah. So just going high tech with our court. Yeah, go on.
جدیدترین رو دوباره بزنید روی بیشترین رای.
So they're sorting based on the newest one.
No, we're sorting based on the highest number of votes.
But he said جدیدترین.
گفت جدیدترین رو بکن.
نه درسته همین highest number of votes. بیایم پایین‌تر.
Change it. Sorry.
درسته. بیایم پایین‌تر. فقط سریع اسکرول نکنید.
اوکی.
آره
یکم بریم بالاتر.
کونگ فو پندا گای.
رادان یکی از سیو بوده. ما ابوالقاسم صلواتی رو داریم. باز بریم بالاتر.
اوکی.
میخوام تیتوار ازشون نگاه رد بشیم فقط.
Okay.
Salavati is one of the judges that has issued a lot of
خانم آمنه سادات ذبیحپور رو داریم. باز بیایم پایین‌تر.
Oh, okay.
That woman late works for state TV. That's Nayak.
Okay, wait, guys.
Parsi is Nayak.
Okay, so for all the Americans, we are going to go over this guy because he is like, I have a number of videos that I want to share with you today. He's in the United States and he's actually a propaganda mouthpiece for the Islamic regime. And he is one of the people that convinced Obama to release billions of dollars to the Islamic regime back in 2009. So yeah, and he's still in the United States right now, and he's constantly putting out like Islamic regime propaganda. So he's like the mouthpiece of the Islamic regime. We'll go over him, but Trita Parsi is a big deal, and Americans, you guys need to know about him because these people are very dangerous.
میتونین کال تو اکشن بکنین، پروفایلش رو باز بکنین، بگین اگه میخواین کامل ترش بکنن هر کی اطلاعی داره در موردش.
So anybody that wants to contribute and make add more information to make this his profile more complete, you could participate.
Yeah.
خب حالا بر اساس همین چند تا فردی که ما معرفی کردیم میخوام بگم که این وبسایت بزرگترین تهدید در حال حاضر برای ما کسایی که در واقع تیم سازندش هم هستیم چون اطلاعات اینا که داره نشر پیدا میکنه پشتش تمامی چیزهای خطرناک رو میتونن به ما وصل بکنن. پس تنها راهی که میتونین از ما الان عملا داریم از نظر جمهوری اسلامی کار تروریستی میکنیم، اطلاعات خودشون و خانواده هاشون رو داریم انتشار میدیم. حالا ما این کار رو با اشراف به خطراتش انجام دادیم و خیلی هم دوست داریم هر چه سریعتر گسترده تر بشه، ولی تنها کاری که میتونین برای حفاظت از ما بکنید اینه که هر کدومتون بشین نماینده این وبسایت. یه موضوعی که در واقع هر چقدر این سایت داره گسترده تر میشه اون ضد خبرها هم باش بیشتر داره رشد میکنه. یعنی آدم هایی که میان روبروش وای میسن اکثرا از این کالت سفاسد توی 24 ساعت گذشته من تو تایملاین دیدم همین گیرای عجیب غریب و پیچیده دادن، در صورت اینکه دقیقاً این خود ابزاره و میخوان جلوشو بگیرن. شما باید به این موضوع آگاه باشید.
Okay, can I translate?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, so what he said is that the people, him and the people behind this website, there's a risk associated with them doing this because this is a major threat against the people in the regime, this website is. So the regime considers the people who have built this website and who are behind this website to be terrorists. So there's a huge risk now against the people who created this website. So you could help them, and by being the representative of this website, so that it's not just them. By the way, I think this is also just will diversify the risk, so that more people are involved. So if more people are representative of this website, it will grow faster, especially now because as this website is growing, there's also a lot of fake news being spread against it. And this fake news against it, like a lot of people are seeing this as a threat, so they're trying to try to dismiss it, to try to come up with weird reasons for why this website make strange points against it. And you have to be aware that this is one of the tools of the regime to use fake news and false information to fight against people raising awareness about the regime. درست بود این حرفم؟
بله حالا من
sorry, I have a question for you. So there are a few people in the chat who are asking how they can get involved to help out with the website, to improve it, or whatever. How can people get a hold of you, or how can they get involved in a way that does not risk your safety or security?
حتما در مورد اونم صحبت میکنیم. مسئله قبلترش اینه که میرسیم به همون موضوع. ببینید همین الان که با هم داریم صحبت میکنیم، مثلا راجر واترز رو یک نفر رفته اد کرده و میخواد از این سوء استفاده بکنه، بگی خب مثلا راجر کسی از ثانیه اد میشه، بعدم توی چند دقیقه حذف میشه، یعنی ویست آف انرژی. مسئله‌ای که داره اینه که ما در حال حاضر یه تیم کوچیکی هستیم که این کار داریم میکنیم. نیاز به چندین ادمین داریم و ادمینا حتما باید معتمد باشن، از چند تا فاکتور جدی بگذرن و در هر صورت یا باید سایت و سرعتش رو بیاریم پایین، سرعت پذیرش سایت رو بیاریم پایین، یا بیایم سرعت تیم رو ببریم، تیم رو گسترده تر بکنیم، که دقیقا همین موضوعی که دوستان میگن و من میخوام باشون صحبت بکنم. اگر قرار باشه که کمک بکنم، کمک‌های خیلی خوبی میتونم بکنم.
اون راجر واترز که اضافه شده میگی که اونو از طرف کسایی که طرفدار رژیمن اضافه کردن برای اینکه سوء استفاده کنن.
آره ببین الان
نه میدونی چرا؟ چون که راجر واترز رو پیرس مورگان بود، بعد راجر واترز گفت که مردم ایران انقلاب نمیکنن، این کار موساده و مردم ایران اتفاقا از رژیم حمایت میکنند. ولی فکر نمی کنم راجر واترز با رژیم باشه، این فقط از خریت خودش بود که اینجوری صحبت کرد.
حالا من یه نکته بگم. الان همون بالا وبسایت برین، یکم اسکرول کنین بالاتر همین لیستو. بیاین اول لیست. آفرین. اون بالا چپ زده بازنشانی. درسته؟ 1216 تا ثبت شده. شما بازنشانی رو بزنید. زیر فیلترها. زیر اینو ببندید. آفرین. شد 1219 تا. یعنی 3 تا در همین لحظه.
We just refreshed it and 3 more people were added to the website. Zoran, oh my gosh, someone added Zoran.
وقتی انقدر دماند روی سایت زیاده، ما طبیعتاً باید تیمو گسترش بدیم که بتونه به هدف خودش برسه.
Should I say that? Translate?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, so what he's saying is that, guys, look, as you can see, like as we refreshed, 3 more people were added. So you can see that there's a lot of demand now for this website, and they don't have enough mods. They don't have enough people to manage all of this. And some people might come and because there's some information on the website that shouldn't be on the website, use it as a way to say like, oh, look, the website is not credible. But the only reason why some of this information is still on is because they don't have enough manpower to go through all of them fast. So they need more people to join them to be able to help them to go through all of this because their team is small right now.
And guys, as well, like this is not a website meant for people who like, for example, like Roger Waters. I mean, I don't think that Roger Waters is affiliated with the Islamic regime. I just think he's a leftist idiot who just hates Israel and hates America. And so he decided to side with the Islamic regime. Like, I don't think Greta Thunberg should be on that list because I don't think she's with the regime. Like, I think she's just an idiot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's being paid by the regime. I don't know. But guys, this website is more for those people who are actually affiliated with the regime, who are speaking on their behalf, who support them, who like go out there and they wave like the Islamic regime flag. You know, they promote no, like Mark Carney shouldn't be on the list. Mark Carney should not be on the list, right? Like this is mostly for those Iranians and then people who are paid mouthpieces. So for example, Barbara Slavin should 100% be on this list, right? Because she is part of the Islamic, you know, she's a mouthpiece for NIAC. So like don't we can't just put people here that we don't like.
Just because yeah.
I mean,
what about people who we don't know?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, unless you have solid evidence, that's the thing. So the whole point of this is when you submit someone's name, you're supposed to also provide documentation to back it up. So you can't just put someone's name and not have the documentation to prove that he's part of the regime. Like Daniel Hairaju, I don't know. Again, unless you have proof. This isn't for people you don't like. This is for people where like the whole point of this is that if you have dirt on someone, if you have documents or information that directly connects someone to the Islamic regime, you submit it here and you put it on the website. It's not for people that you don't like.
Right. But Tipta, what about the people who have been making anti-Pahlavi content? That's not good enough, right? Or is it?
اون بحث رأی‌گیری رو ما برای همین موضوع گذاشتیم. البته پلتفرم در حال گسترشه، الان بیشتر در موردش میگم که بدونید چه ویژگی جدیدی هم بهش اضافه میشه. در مورد اینکه حالا این حرفی که گلدی زد حرف خیلی درستیه و باید در نظر داشته باشید ما منابعمون محدوده. اگر قرار باشه فقط بابت کینه‌توزی و در واقع بدون پروف یه کسی رو اونجا اد بکنیم، بیشتر داریم به خودمون خیانت میکنیم. در نظر داشته باشید وقتی ما میگیم مزدور، یعنی کسی که بابت آسیب رسوندن یا خفه کردن صدای مردم ایران پولی گرفته. پس ما باید هم رد ارتباط رو داشته باشیم، هم ثابت شده باشه که پولی بینشون رفت آمد کرده باشه. حالا یه سری افراد شناخته شده و سرشناس هستن که نیاز نیست به این پروف برسیم، ولی وقتی دارین یه اسم رندوم اضافه میکنین حتما باید از این موضوع مطمئن باشین. این در واقع بغیر از حالا بحث درست بودن سایت و درست کار کردن، بحث اخلاقی فردی هم هست. ما اگر میخوایم انقلاب کنیم داریم انقلاب میکنیم به سمت رفتارهای فردی و جمعی بهتر. اخلاق و فرهنگمون هم داریم همزمان آپدیت میکنیم.
Okay, should I translate? So Patipto confirmed that what Goldie said was very correct, and she was really on point. This is not about us, settling scores or basically holding grudges against the people that we don't like. Especially, you have to understand that the people who are working on this website, they're very limited in number. So you just adding information to the website that is that we don't have evidence for is basically adding to their work. When we say mercenaries, we're specifically when they're saying mercenaries, they're specifically talking about people who receive money to suppress the voices of Iranian people or just to suppress their voices in general. And basically that means that you need to have there needs to be some evidence for money being paid to these people or a clear line of communication. And he also reminds us that, remember guys, this is, if we're doing this revolution, we're doing this revolution for our country to go to a higher moral standard and a higher culture. So we need to, for our revolution to be, effective, we need to also have higher moral standards to be able to get our country to that level, higher moral standards. درست بود حرفم؟
دقیقا.
Okay.
در رابطه با کمک گلی لطفاً اون دکمه هامو بزن.
کجا؟
بالا سمت راست.
Oh, home? Okay.
People are asking if we could add MEK. Is MEK okay to add?
Yes, of course.
No. Okay.
Yeah, MEK you can add.
They are literary terrorist organization. حالا اسکرول کن پایین لطفا. اون پایین کوچیک نوشته درباره ما چگونه ما هم حمایت مالی داریم، هم نوشته چگونه مشارکت کنیم. درسته؟ روی این کلیک بکنید. این برای کسایی که میخوان توی تیم همراه بشن.
Okay. So guys, So if you, on the main page, mozduryab.com, if you scroll to the bottom, it's going to say how to participate, okay? So if you click on how to participate, there's like a website here, there's a form, and then apparently you have to give your info, and then it's going to be verified. So guys, I want to give a disclaimer. Here, okay? So I don't condone this. I don't condemn this. We're just here to give information. So it's up to you guys whether or not you want to give your information, because Potipto, he can't verify his identity to you. So just take it with a grain of salt. If you are in a place where giving your personal information might endanger you, don't participate. So just, you know, I just want to put it out there. We're like, I always want to be very clear about this kind of stuff. So don't give your contact info or anything unless, you know, you're okay with people having your contact info and your identity. So there you go. But anyone who wants to
Can I also add?
Yeah.
Can I also add my disclaimer? Because guys, we're only sharing the news here. Everybody needs to do their own research and evaluate what is right and what is wrong. We're just basically, this is a newsworthy information, so we're just educating and sharing the news. We're not telling you what to do.
Yeah, and we're sharing this because one of our viewers was asking about how they can help with the website. So we're sharing this information for people who want to know how they can help with the website, but it's up to you guys whether or not you want to help. I don't condone, I don't condemn. This is just for information purposes only. So you can go there and you can, you know, provide your info. And then Potito said that there's a vetting process because of course one of the challenges, one of the concerns is that there might be people affiliated with the regime who might want to submit their info as well. So, but you know, that's part of that's the challenge when, you know, we've been dealing with an Islamic dictatorship that is controlling us, right, and controlling every aspect of our lives. So we always have to be extra careful about everything, and it's always very, you know, we have to be very careful before we trust anyone with any information, because we never know who could be a spy and who couldn't be. So there you go.
البته همین چیزی هم که شما گفتین رو ما توی وبسایت قرار داریم، توی این قسمت attention to security دقیقاً واضحاً داریم اینو میگیم و من با شما موافقم.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay.
هدف اصلی اینه که امنیت ارجحیت داشته باشه به شرایط. من
very so I just want to add this. So my disclaimer, Potito just pointed out it's already there. I wasn't even paying attention to that. So even on the form, there's a disclaimer that, you know, if this is going to be dangerous for you, don't fill out the form because your security and safety is a priority.
حالا
Very professional.
ممنونم. من حالا چند تا سوال و چند تا چون بالاخره شما هم اینو توضیح دادین، من برای شما توضیح میدم. در آینده از شما سوال‌های زیادی میپرسن، جواب منو به نحوه خودتون بهشون بگیم. ببینید الان یه سری از برچسبایی که میزنن میگن این وبسایت به در واقع جمهوری اسلامی وصله و طبق معمول میخواد اطلاعات شما رو جمع بکنه برای جمهوری اسلامی. اینجور حرفا. اولا اینکه کل پروسه انونیموس، از وارد کردن اطلاعات تا رای گیری تا هر چیزی. اگر بخواید پارتیسیپیت بکنید باید بین اطلاعاتتون رو وارد کنید و این خیلی برای ما مهمه. شما نمیتونید کسی رو به قول شما دولبه وارد سیستم بکنید و این سیستم دچار باگ بشه. و در کنارش هم خیلی‌ها دارن در مورد رأی‌گیری صحبت میکنن. ببینید سیستم رأی‌گیری دو حالت داره. یا من باید بیام بابت رأی‌گیری از شما اطلاعات دقیق بگیرم که مطمئن بشم شما یه تک رأی داری که خب این ضد امنیته، یا اینکه باید سیستم رأی‌گیری انونیموس بشه ولی به صورت اتوماسیون ابنورمالیتی ها شناخته میشه. یعنی مثلا وقتی شما بری به یه نفر 400 تا رای بدی با 400 تا آی پی متفاوت بخوای سیستم رو هک بکنی، این سیستم ریویو میشه، توی نسخه بعدیش دوباره رای اسپم از توش حذف میشه. پس شما در لحظه امکان داره سیستم رو بخوای هایجک بکنی ولی توی کسری از ثانیه کارهای شما تقریبا از بین میره و این تنها کاریه که در حال حاضر توی سیستم آنلاین میشه انجام داد. و یه نکته خیلی مهمه من به شما بگم، خیلی اصلا باور ندارن فعالیت توی فضای سایبری توی در واقع سال 2025 چه شکلیه. وقتی شما به محض اینکه توی فضای سایبری قرار میگیری هیچ رد پایی از شما پاک نخواهد شد. لایکی زده باشی، صحبتی کرده باشی، رفت آمدی کرده باشی، اینا همه بالاخره توی دیتابیس هایی ثبت میشه که این دیتابیس ها حالا توسط دولت ها یا هر کس دیگه ارگانیزیشن ها این بیگ دیتا ها دستشون هست و پردازش میکنن برای روز مبادا. پس اگر قرار باشه من پوتیپتو بیام اینجا یک پلتفرمی درست بکنم و این پلتفرم تبدیل بشه به یه لکه ننگ برای من، یعنی توش باگی به وجود بیاد، از بابتش کسی آسیب ببینه یا هر لیک دیتایی داشته باشه عملا پوتیپتو رو از بین بردم و عملا تمام دسترسی های خودم رو از بین بردم. پس حالا خود ما وقتی توی اینجا فعالیم خیلی خیلی محتاطیم، چون میدونیم رد پامون هیچ وقت پاک نمیشه و در کنارش هم از این به عنوان یک فرصت استفاده میکنیم، چون تمام این مزدورا بالاخره میخوان رنگ عوض کنن. پس ما اینا رو ثبت میکنیم تا به موقعش بریم آدرس و اطلاعات و هر چیزی که لازمه رو، حتی اکانت های ناشناس رو استخراج بکنیم.
این نکته آخر رو یه بار دیگه بگو. نکته آخر، بخشی جمله آخر تو داشتم.
جمله آخر اینه که توی دنیای امروزی که ما هستیم هیچ رد و هیچ ارتباطی پاک نخواهد شد. شاید شما بری یک جایی بی سر و صدا با رژیم همکاری بکنی و فکر بکنی فردا رژیم میفته و شکل عوض میکنی، مثلا سال 57 کراواتتو در میاری، عمامه میذاری سرت. ولی فضای سایبری به ما این بیگ دیتایی که عملا داره تولید میشه و ماشین لرنینگی که هست به ما این قابلیت میده که تا حتی اکانت های ناشناس، اکانت هایی که هندلشون رو عوض کردن، همونجوری که الان موساد داره در مقابل اسرائیل ستیزا توی سوشال مدیا این کارو میکنه، هیچ کسی رد خودش رو نمیتونه پاک کنه. پس ما ثبت میکنیم تا روزی که بتونیم بهشون دسترسی داشته باشیم.
Okay, so some people are accusing this website of being part of the Islamic Republic, try to collect people's information, but Patipto points out that everything in this website is anonymous unless you actually go to this page that Goldie is showing and try to participate. But yeah, everything else is anonymous. And then when it comes to the voting structure, the voting method, there's two ways to do voting. Either you have to give your information, so to make sure that everybody does only one vote and people don't do multiple votes, but that's like obviously makes it less secure. Or the other method is anonymous. And the issue that some people might have with anonymous is that people would use like multiple IPs to abnormally like basically vote and change the votes. However, what Patipto is mentioning is that that is difficult to do because what they have is a review that will remove spam votes. So if any abnormal activity on the votes will be identified within a few seconds and then removed immediately. So I think what he's saying is that there are ways to identify that people are changing their IPs and voting multiple times. There's a way to recognize that behavior and remove it. And then he was pointing out that these days everything that you do online, it leaves a trace, and it's not erasable. So even if people are using anonymous accounts, even if they're using fake IDs, they leave something behind. And there's like big data and machine learning. There's methods to allow to figure out even anonymous accounts and basically link them and figure out who's doing what activity. And was این نکته این بود درست گفتم؟
بله، به صورت خلاصه همون حرف رضا شاه کبیر، به سراغ تک تکشان خواهیم رفت.
And he says that reflects exactly what our great king Reza Shah is saying. The summary of that is what he has been saying, which means which he has said, سراغ تک تکشون خواهیم رفت, which means that we will go after each and every single one of them.
This is also, so for those of you who are asking if this is legal or not, I mean, this is also in line with what President Trump asked Iranians to do back on January 13. President Trump said, Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers, they will pay a big price. So, I mean, President Trump is also encouraging Iranians to make a list of all the IRGC Nazis, right? And so this website, to me, this looks like the most democratic way of doing it, because there's a lot of checks and balances in place. And I personally, I like the fact that, one thing you said is so critical, Potito. You don't actually need to provide any personal information to submit someone's name. So at no point ever do you have to give any identifying or personal information when you're filling out the mercenary form. The only time that they request your personal information is if you choose to participate in the website. If you want to be an admin, or something, then of course, you know, you can do that. But even then there's a disclaimer and they're saying, don't do it. Don't do it if you know, it's going to be a risk for your safety. But like it's incredibly democratic, right? Because even people that we know are with the, like even Larijani. So Larijani, we know that he's with the Islamic regime. We know that he is, you know, a mercenary. Even him right now, his profile is still under review. So that's because the mods, they go through every single profile that has been submitted. And that's why this is really important. So like, for example, this one is identified, right? So they identified her, 231 votes. And so you can see the green there. But anyone who's under review is, you know, still under review. So this is incredibly democratic, right? Like this is it's still giving people the benefit of the doubt in a way, right? It's still giving people the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, like this is what President Trump and the Shah asked for. So, you know, Iran, like, you know, so when we say that Iranians are fighting back and the revolution is not over, this is a part of it. This is, you know, cyber warfare.
Can you explain how this website could contribute to defections?
از من میپرسیم؟
آره، یعنی چجوری این باعث ریزش میتونه بشه؟
الان خدمتت عرض میکنم. قبل از اون توی کامنت ها یک نفری از گلدی پرسیده که به خاطر اینکه من بدون چهره اینجا هستم آیا منو وریفای میکنه. من خودم به خاطر اینکه دقیقاً توی این فضا هستم، اگر گلدی درخواست بکنه تمام مدارک و مشخصاتی که لازم باشه رو براش از طریق کانال خصوصی میفرستم. حتی اگه خواست با هم میتونیم تماس تصویری هم بگیریم اگر لازم باشه به این کار.
So someone was asking like, okay, because Potipto is here not showing his face, how do we know he's verified? So he offered again to do like a video call with me, video chat, and to send all of his identifying documents and information. Potipto has already identified who he was to me back when we first met. So I know what he looks like, I know his real name, all of that. And that's a big deal because it takes a lot to you know, trust someone with your identity, especially if you're in occupied Iran. So I do know who he is, like what he looks like and everything. But you know, he doesn't, like, he certainly definitely should not ID himself, and you know, he's also taking a big risk being here as well.
خب آرمین جان یه سوالی شما پرسیدی من فراموش کردم.
اوکی. ازت پرسیدم میتونی توضیح بدی که این وبسایت چجوری میتونه باعث ریزش بشه از بدن نظام؟
ببین شما تنها حالتی که در واقع شاهزاده هم همین تکنیکو داره استفاده میکنه، تنها حالتی که میتونی به نیروی سرکوبی که از در واقع حد وحشیگری گذشته، ما نیروی سرکوب مثلا یک کشور عادی رو که نداریم، داریم در مورد جمهوری اسلامی صحبت میکنیم. اگر کشوری بود که مثلا در مورد منطق میتونیم صحبت کنیم تاپیک عوض میشه، ولی وقتی یه نیروی سرکوبی داری که تا حد مرگ جلو میره و مثلا حاضر مردم رو اینجوری زیر گلوله ببنده، تنها حالتی که میتونی باش برخورد بکنی سیاست مشت آهنینه. یعنی چی؟ یعنی نشون بدی که تو هم به اندازه اون مردمی که در واقع توی خیابون درشون داری خطر ایجاد میکنی مورد خطر هستی. تمام این آدم ها هم که در واقع شامل نیروی سرکوب میشن هویتشون به نوبه‌ای پوشیده است. حالا اگر مثلا از سردارای نظام بگیری که صورتشون دیده میشه، آدرس خونه و شماره تلفن و اینجور چیزاشون نیست، تا سرکوبگرایی که تو خیابون ماسک میزنن، مسئله اینه که همه میخوان هویتشون رو مخفی نگه دارن. پس شما هر تعدادی از اینا رو بتونی هویتشون رو رسوا بکنی، قاعدتا اون نفر کنارشون شروع میکنه به ترسیدن یا خود اون طرف شروع میکنه به ترسیدن. و یه ویژگی دیگه هم ما حالا داریم براش در نظر میگیریم برای این سیستم، احتمالاً بیفته برای بعد از افتادن جمهوری اسلامی، مطمئنا تا قبلش راه اندازی نمیشه، ولی ویژگی که داریم بهش اضافه میکنیم اینه که بتونن امان نامه بگیرن. یعنی اگر کسی توی این لیست هست و در واقع تحت نظر قرار گرفته، بیاد با ما همکاری بکنه، تعداد بیشتری از اون مزدورا رو بیاد به ما لو بده و ما بیایم در موردش تخفیف انجام بدیم. اینجوری میتونیم شبکه رو گسترده تر بکنیم و هیچ جای دنیا نتونن از دستمون فرار کنن.
واو، میخواستم سال بعدیم دقیقا در همین بود که مثلا تشویقی هم چیزی داری؟ یعنی هویج هم هست یا فقط چوبه؟ هویج هم داری؟ دمتون گرم. Okay. Okay. So what he's saying is that what they're doing at this. So I asked him what this website could do regarding encouraging defections, and he says what they're doing in this website is in line with the Prince Reza Pahlavi's technique. So he's saying that the only way to deal with such a suppressing force that we have right now with the Islamic Republic, because the suppressing force, the anti-right police, the oppression mechanism in Iran right now is abnormal. It's not like other countries. Even compared to other countries, the level of violence that they are using, and the fact that they are fighting till death, like they're not giving in. They're going to be keep continuing to fight. And this level of violence, the only way that you could deal with this kind of suppression is to basically expose them to the same type of risk that the Iranian people in the streets are exposed to. So to show them that if the Iranian people's lives are being taken and they're being threatened, that they are also exposed to the same level of danger, and basically respond to them with an iron fist. That's what he's saying. That's the only way to respond to such an oppressing force. So this is what he refers to it as a policy of iron fist. So to show them that you're also at risk. So there are many people. There are many people within the regime that some of these people are, we know them and we know their faces and we don't know their name. But there are many other people that their names are hidden, that are part of the regime apparatus and they're part of the suppressing forces, but they wear masks. Nobody, we don't know their names. And it's important. Goldie, your mic is open. Okay. So, and they are trying to remain hidden. They want to make sure that their ID is hidden. So he says that's why another feature that they are going to be adding to the website, and he says that this is going to be probably something that they add after the regime is toppled, is to give something called amanname. Amanname means like a letter of safety, a letter of security, something like that, to people who are on this list who will cooperate with this website to snitch on other people. So if you're on this website, you could come and receive a letter of protection. Oh yeah, a letter of protection. I think that's a better translation. A letter of protection from this website if you cooperate with this website and snitch on other people. So basically what I said is that, okay, good, because the website is going to add carrots, not just stick. Right? درست بودین؟
بله.
Okay.
حالا اینجا توافقی من با گلدی و شما بکنم، چون کار خیلی زیاده و منم خیلی برنامه‌های زیادی دارم. از یه طرف میخوام تا حد ممکن از زمان استفاده بکنم. اگر هر جای دیدین من بیشتر دارم، یعنی بیشتر از اون چیزی که تایم فریمی که در اختیارم دارم فعالیت میکنم، فقط منو نوتیس بکنید، چون من همه چیزامو اینجا نوشتم، قدم به قدم دارم جلو میبرم. در مورد این وبسایت خیلی صحبت کردیم، همینجور میخوام پروندهشو ببندم. دلیل اصلی که بعد از 24 ساعت اومدم اینجا پیش شما و وبسایت رو آوردم بالا، فقط ارجاع کردن به حرف خودم که دیروز بود. ببینید ما لازم داریم که کارهای هدفمند و اثرگذار بکنیم و لازم داریم قدرت خودمون رو بفهمیم. وقتی تو 24 ساعت میشه همچین کاری رو کرد، پس طبیعتاً اگر با هم جهت بشیم کارهای بیشتری میشه کرد که من الان یه لیست ازشون دارم که بعد میتونیم در موردشون صحبت بکنیم. و در مورد اون حمایت در واقع انونیموس هم یه چیزی جا موند که شما در هر صورت اگر بخوای از این سیستم حمایت بکنی ولی نخوای هیچ ارتباطی با این سیستم داشته باشی هم ما در نظر گرفتیم. شما میتونی بری توی اون بحث حمایت مالی از کریپتوهایی مثل XMR یا کریپتوهایی که در واقع بدون رد هستن استفاده بکنی و حمایت مالی بکنی. این پولا وقتی وارد صندوق بشه صرف طبیعتاً سیستم نظارت و گسترش وبسایت میشه. و حالا موضوع اصلی هم که هست، ما تمام این حرکت
اینا رو بگم اول.
آره بگو من اینو خلاصه بگم شما خودت بدون بعد دیگه همشو بگو. مسئله اصلی هم که هست ما تمام حرکت هامونو همچنان که روی وب 2 ایجاد میکنیم میبریم روی وب 3 یعنی تمام دیتا ها توکنایز میشه میره روی بلاک چین و طبیعتا دیگه دست هیچ کی بهش نمیرسه که بخواد پاکش کنه یا بینش ببره.
Okay, so he's saying that the main reason he's back in 24 hours is because based on the results that this website has seen in 24 hours, he's basically, he wants to come and demonstrate that the things that we could do. He talks about how we need to be focusing on goal-oriented tasks, basically stuff that actually produces results. You know how he mentioned yesterday that we shouldn't just be doom scrolling and just liking and commenting. We need to be focusing on type of action that actually produces results. So he's saying, like, look, when he came yesterday, after 24 hours, you can see how much this website has grown in 24 hours. So this is proof that if we focus on the right types of tasks, then we could actually achieve a lot. So we should become aware of the power that we have if we actually get focused on specific tasks, right? And based on that, he says he has a list on other things that we could do, which he's going to, I think, talk about at another time. And also he wants to mention that for people, okay, who want to support without leaving any connection or trace of themselves connected to this website, in the support section, there's ways for people to support with crypto. And he specifically mentioned XMR, which is Monero for people who know, which is a untraceable crypto, for example. So you could use that to support. And he also added that what they're doing is right now this is on Web 2, but they're going to also add Web 3. So for people who don't know, Web 2 is basically all the websites that you guys are aware of. Web 3 is basically when you go on the blockchain and everything is tokenized and everything is going to be on the blockchain and not even God could be erased anymore, right? So they're planning on going to Web 3 so that they get to a point where all of the information on it is not erasable. Yeah, that's good. همه رو گفتم؟
یه نکته فقط فراموش شد، اونم اینی که این حالا بذار کاملتر بگم که بیشتر بگم. اصلا وقتی ما میتونیم فعالیتمون رو به نتیجه برسونیم که 2 فاکتور شفافیت و انونیمیتی رو بتونیم اثبات بکنیم. پس اگر قرار باشه پولی بیاد توی شبکه، هر جایی که میخواد، همون جایی که من گفتم پول میخواد خرج بشه برای گسترش و توسعه وبسایت و اثرگذاریش. اگه شما حمایتی بکنید، ما تمام اون حمایت ها رو جایی که خرج میشه رو ثبت میکنیم، روی وب تری داریمش و شفاف در دسترس هست. یعنی شما مطمئن هستین که پولتون به جای درستی میره.
Okay, so he's saying that if we want to do things that we actually achieve our goals, it needs to have anonymity and transparency at the same time. These are the 2 characteristics that it needs to have to be able to achieve the goal. So he says that any donations that is made to this website is going to be built on this network and to expand it and to improve it and all that stuff. So when anything that they receive, when they spend it, they are going to be transparent about what they received and how much they spent it on and how much they spent and what they spent it on, so that everything is going to be transparently available to everybody to see what's being spent on. ولی خب مونرو که بفرستن که اون که دیگه نمیتونه ترانسپرنت باشه که گرفته شده یا گرفته نشده، درسته؟
ببینید خود ترانزکشن که ترانسپرنته، در واقع خود ترانزکشن که دیده نمیشه، ولی مبلغی که میاد توی صندوق قرار میگیره یک مبلغ جمعیه و این مبلغ جمعی وقتی از ولت اصلی خارج میشه مشخصه کجا رفته. اگر مثلا بابت ادمین بوده مشخصه، اگر بابت تبلیغ بوده مشخصه و so on.
Okay, so they have going to have wallets for all of these, and it's going to be transparently available that it has exited the wallet, for example, and they're going to identify that this has been spent on marketing or, I don't know, programming. So they're going to be very transparent regarding what they're spending everything on. همه رو گفتم، چیزی موند؟
نه درست بود. در مورد ادیت و پاک کردن و اصلاح گفتن که تنها راهش اینه که یعنی پرسیدن چجوری میتونن اگر اطلاعات اشتباهی دادن، تنها راهش اینه که حالا از اون طریق ارتباط با ما به ما پیام بدن. ما در واقع یه کد داره هر چیزی پروفایلی که میسازن، اون کد رو بده بگه اصلاح بکنیم یا پاک بکنیم اگر اشتباه میدونن کردن.
All right, so some people are asking if they entered something by mistake, how could they edit it? And it says the only way is to use the contact us feature and give the code for a specific profile, and they communicate with the website developers and say that they have that they made a mistake with their profile. So do you need to contact them?
گلدی من یه صحبتی با شما دارم، حالا آرمین جان شما اگه میدونستی بهم بگو. در مورد رها دختری که کشته شده و به تازگی داره فیلم و عکساش میاد بیرون، اطلاعی دارین شما؟
نه.
توی توییتر فقط
دانشگاه بود؟
آفرین، زبان فرانسه یا ایتالیا میخوند اگر اشتباه نکنم. شما تو توییتر یه رها سرچ بکنی.
آره دیدیمش، ویدیوشو پخش کردیم آره قبلا.
آفرین میتونید. آفرین دقیقاً. آفرین. میخوام ازت که توییت شاهین مدرس اگه بتونید یه رها توی توییتر سرچ بکن. من یه چیزی در مورد اینا متوجه شدم، خیلی کار کثیفی دارن انجام میدن. به عنوان مثال میخوام باهات در موردش صحبت بکنم، ببینید چجوری ما میتونیم آره بتونیم جلوی پروپاگاندا رژیم واسیم و این کار تکرار میشه، دفعه اول هم نیست.
اسمش رها پهلوی
بهلولی پور.
بهلولی پور.
آره.
این شاهین منو بلاک کرده چون که پدر سوخته است.
خب من الان اسکرین شات میفرستم.
نه هنوز میتونم ببینم، یه لحظه الان میارمش.
آخه دیروز در موردش چیز کرده، توییت کرده.
این خیلی کثیفه.
آفرین، همین یه دونه رها سرچ بکن تو پروفایلش میارتش. میخوام ببینین چه جوری این بازو داره کار میکنه و برای گلدی هم یه اسکرین شات فرستادم، حالا اونم به موقعش میکشیم بیرون. الان فقط پست شاهین رو در مورد رها بیاریم.
الان میارم یه لحظه.
من دیروز فیلم این خانم نشون دادم به عنوان یکی از نمونه ها.
Let me just search for her. So for those who don't speak Persian.
آفرین همین پست.
Okay.
این یک مثال لایو از خونشوریه. من برای شما میخوام باز بکنم این پرونده رو. ببین برای این دختر اومده کلی داستان فلسفی نوشته و کلی ارتباطش داده به خطای فکری متفاوت و قیافه فلسفی حق به جانب هم گرفته. اون اسکرین شات توی تلگرامش رو بیارین. همون توی
چی گفته
بخونین، بعد اسکرین شاتی که خودش توی چت گذاشته رو بیارین.
Okay, let me pull up the screenshot. بذار اسکرین شات رو ولی ترجمه بکنم. Give me one moment.
اول شما اینو ترجمه بکنید، بعد میخوام رفرنس بدم به پست خود شاهین مدرس که آدمای
You want to send a link to me, Goldie?
حالا
I'll just do this. So Potipto, what do you want me to translate first?
Just read the caption.
من میخوام چیزی که شاهین داره الان نشون میده به جامعه بین‌المللی شما در موردش صحبت کنید، بعد من مچشو رو کنم که این آدم چجوری داره از خون جوانای عزیز ایران سوء استفاده میکنه.
Okay, so Potipto wants me to share this post with you. So this guy, first of all, he is part of the Islamic regime. Okay, so he is 100% a Nazi. He's a mouthpiece. He's a mouthpiece for the regime. And he actually has me blocked, okay? Because a lot of these Islamic regime Nazis, they block me because they're scared of me. They're scared of me calling them out, okay? So he actually did a post about Raha. Raha is that girl who was murdered by the Islamic Republic, okay? So this was from January 20th. And so what he wrote here is that finding out her name was Raha Behlolipur made the pain far more personal. It was no longer just an image. It was a life that had a name, a history, a voice. A girl born on December 21, 2002, a student of Italian language at the University of Tehran, a resident of the dormitory, the second child of a 4-member family from the Qashqai tribe. These are not statistics. These are the coordinates of a human being. My heart trembles when I think that Raho was studying the language I live with every day, Italian, a language that was meant to be a bridge, not a gravestone. It was supposed to teach, to translate, perhaps one day to build her future in this very country where I live, not as some distant dream, but as a natural path in life. And then January 9, 2026, a bullet struck her lung and suddenly everything stopped, not just her breathing, but all the what could have beens. They buried her in Firuzabad, but what was buried was not just the body. It was every sentence she could have said in Italian, every class she could have taught, every life she could have touched, and then that sentence, that final line, an hour before the shot. یک لحظه بس شدم فقط میخواستم بنویسم. Oh my god.
You see.
These people.
Oh my god.
These people. These people, man. Snakes, I tell you. No insult to snakes.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Wow.
okay, Potipto. I understand. I understand what you mean, Potipto, because now I get it. Let me save this, and then I'll explain this, and I'll give the context. Okay. Just give me a moment here to like Google Translate this so that I can.
من میخوام یه کیس استادی آنلاین الان داشته باشیم. تمام ویورها اگه این رفتار رو ببینن قشنگ متوجه میشن که چجوری تکرار میشه و چند بار این کار رو دارن انجام میدن.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Potito wants to provide a case study for all of you so you could recognize this pattern. Guys, by watching this, you're going to become an expert in realizing how some people sound like they're saying something, but they're saying something else. So this is going to be a very good case study. Goldie is going to explain what's going on here, okay? So
Yeah, just give me one moment.
Yeah.
I'm just screenshotting this into guys. So this is the oh my gosh, like چون این خودش رو ننوشته، یعنی تلفنش رو گرفتن
دقیقاً. البته این یه نظریه است، هنوز ثابت نشده، ولی من و شما قطعی میدونیم که این اتفاق افتاده. اما بهتره که بگیم آقا وقتی یک نفر میاد برای یک نفر رمان مینویسه، سانتیمانتالش میکنه و در ارتباط شخصی باش درست میکنه، بعد میاد در مورد هزار تا چیز صحبت میکنه ولی هیچ جا اشاره نمیکنه که این دختر توسط جمهوری اسلامی اینجوری کشته شده، ما با خانواده‌اش ارتباط گرفتیم و فلان و فلان و فلان، مشخصه که دنبال یه هدف دیگه، دنبال خونشوریه.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saving this and I'm gonna explain. Oh my gosh. Save as. Oh my gosh, these people are sick. These people are sick. Okay, so let me just finish reading this part. So what they're saying is that 1 hour. So what this Islamic regime guy, okay, what this Islamic regime guy is saying is that 1 hour before she was killed. First of all, he doesn't say that the Islamic regime killed her, right? So the way that this is written, he's making it seem as if the terrorists killed her, the rioters killed her, okay? Even though she was one of the freedom fighters, the way that this Islamic regime Nazi has written, by the way, like he has me blocked, right? Because he knows that I call out his nonsense. Where was it? Let me pull that up again. So he has
به اتنیک بودن هم حتی وصلشه، حتی داره اشاره میکنه رها از فلان، مثلا نمیگه ایرانی بوده.
Like he's writing this like flowery eulogy for her and like, oh, she was a daughter and as someone who speaks Italian, like my heart is broken, blah blah blah. And then this is the messed up part. So he says the final line an hour before the shot. So first of all, no mention that the Islamic regime did this. Second of all, the slogan here, so allegedly 1 hour supposedly before the Islamic regime shot her, apparently she put in her phone, I got connected for one final second and I just want to say woman life freedom forever. Guys,
یه پاز بدین. چه زمانی اینو زده اسکرین شات؟ ساعت 4:46 دقیقه 9 ژانویه، زمانی که کل ایران تو سیاهی قطعی اینترنت و ارتباطات و تلفن و همه چی.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up, guys, because this is
disgusting.
this is how Islamic regime propaganda works. So this is the screenshot here. Let me get rid of the banner here. Okay, so this, I don't know how to make this bigger. Anyways, this is the screenshot. Okay, this is the screenshot, and as you can see, what she allegedly wrote, it was on January 9. Remember, guys, remember NetBlocks? Let me pull up NetBlocks for you guys. Let me pull up NetBlocks. Wait, let me go to. So these are things like we, like as Iranians, because we're used to Islamic regime propaganda, like we catch on right away, which is like I didn't even need to finish reading that statement to realize what's going on. But let's go to NetBlocks. I just want to do this so that I can like connect the dots for you guys, okay? So here you can see. So according to NetBlocks, okay, the internet completely shut down on January 8. Okay? The internet, yeah, Simply Zig, you got it. You got it. They wrote that. Yep, that's exactly what's going on here. So the internet shut down on January 8, okay? The internet shut down on January 8. So literally no one was able to connect to the outside world. Okay? No one was able to connect to the outside world. And yet, for some reason, this poor Raha girl, okay, who was shot by the Islamic regime, she somehow manages to get internet access. And not only that, so this was put out, what's the time here? 15, so it's 1527. It's kind of hard to see there. So 1527, that is so basically 3:30. But not only is it at 3:30, do you see it's edited? So that very well might have been something different, but they edited it, right? So what's happened? Okay, go ahead.
Can I send you the original image? Because this is the translated one.
I have the original.
Oh, okay.
I have the original as well. The only reason I'm showing, no, I have the original. Potito sent it to me. Here, I can pull it up, but there you go.
Yeah, because some people might think like, why is this English? I just want them to see that this is the original. Yeah.
This is the original. This is the original. I'm just giving you I basically translated it on Google Translate so you guys can see, right? Okay. So that's the original. This is the Google Translate. Okay. So this is the messed up part. So they write in woman, life, freedom, forever. Why? Because yes, initially in 2022, when the Mahsa Amini movement started, the original slogan was woman, life, freedom. But the communists and the leftists and the Islamists quickly took over the slogan. Okay, they took the slogan from us and they rebranded it and they repurposed the meaning. Okay, so you know, like how right now all the MEK and these people, they're going out on news media and they're saying, oh, Reza Pahlavi isn't the legitimate leader. You know, it's you know, all that kind of stuff, right? So they've been doing this for a very long time. So initially, woman, life, freedom, like we were all saying woman, life, freedom. We were all saying woman, life, freedom. But then within like 6 months, all of us Iranians, we stopped saying woman, life, freedom because that was it was co-opted by the communists and the Islamists and the leftists, right? And not
even
only
the Islamic
that,
Republic.
Yes, even the Islamic Republic, yes. And like even the Islamic was saying, oh yeah, woman, life, freedom, that's in the Quran. And so they were basically saying anyone who chants woman, life, freedom is in support of the Islamic Republic. That is why in this revolution, since the beginning 3 weeks ago, the only chant you've ever heard has been Javid Shah, which means long live the king. You've also heard این آخرین نبرد پهلوی برمیگرده, which means this is the final battle Pahlavi will return. And the other one is Reza Pahlavi این از شعار ملی, which means Reza Pahlavi, this is the national slogan. Why are Iranians saying this? Because that is the like that Reza Pahlavi is the one person they can't take away from us, right? They cannot take that away from us. However, by them, by the Islamic regime putting this message here, right, and saying, I just want to say woman, life, freedom forever, they're trying to paint a picture of her being against the Shah, and they're trying to paint a picture of her being murdered by the the pro-democracy Iranians, right? The pro-democracy Iranians. So that's basically what they're doing, because even in his like eulogy about her, and even in this, this is how the Islamic regime spreads propaganda. This is how they spread propaganda. So he's making it seem as if she was anti-Pahlavi, and he's making it seem as if people who support Pahlavi murdered her. Right?
حالا این نکته هم دقت بکن. من صدا آرمین ندارم، ببخشید.
Did you show the message above it? Sorry, that she's against the booklet.
آفرین، میخوام همینو بگم. اینا انقدر پس فطرتن که تو اون اسکرین شات فقط قسمت پایین رو گذاشته، چون قسمت بالا عملا حمایت این دختر از پهلویه. و نکته مهمتری که من دارم صحبت میکنم در موردش اینه که من خودم قلبم به خاطر رها فشرده است و ما ده ها هزار دختر داشتیم که توی این جریان اتفاق افتاده. چرا فقط روی یک نفر دارن زوم میکنن؟ و چقدر کار کثیفیه که تو بیای یک نفر رو خودت بکشی و خودت ازش سوء استفاده بکنی. ما با همچین اهریمنایی در طرفیم. و یه نکته دیگه، شما نسخه فارسی اسکرین شات رو ببین یه بار دیگه. نوشته که یک لحظه وصل شده ام و زیرش هم ادیت شده. درسته؟ کلمه شدم رو توی کانالش سرچ بکن، یک بار شدم رو اینطوری ننوشته این آدم. یعنی ما با یه سری موجود پس فطرتی که از همه چی کمتر و خیلی احمقن و ما باید از این موضوع درس بگیریم. اجازه ندیم که دیگه اینا تریبون بگی. الان شما به اینا وقتی چیز بکنی میگه نه همصدایی، شما بعد مثلا این دختر چرا میخوای مثلا ببری، میخواد فالس فلگ به تو بده، در صورتی اینکه باید دقیقاً نشون بده که شما به خاطر این موضوع الان تحت چیز هستی، باید ثابت بکنی که این کارو نکردی. و من اینو بگم جمله‌مو ببندم، عین همین اتفاق برای خیلی از آدم‌ها افتاده، من جمله خود منم تجربهش کردم. میری تو خیابون میگیرنت، میگن گوشیتو بده، گوشیتو به زور باز میکنی، بعد میبینه کانال تلگرام داری، عکس داری، فلان داری، اینجور حرفا، همونجا انقدر میزنن تا بمیری. و چیکار میکنن؟ تبدیلت میکنن به، یعنی رهای دختری که الان از دو طرف مظلوم مونده، هم کشتنش هم دارن ازش سوء استفاده میکنن و معلوم نیست قبل از اینکه کشتنش چیکار باش کردن.
پاتیپ تو یه لحظه من فکر کنم یه چیزی رو درست خوندیم یا نخوندیم، اینجا باید چک بکنم قبل از اینکه گلی توضیح بده. خب چون اینجا به من توضیح بده، نوشته دفترچه اضطراری، شاید اینش هم شاید براش نوشتن، چون گفت نمیدونم، حالا شاید من دارم اگه درست نخوندم بهم دفترچه اضطراری که برنامه تیم آقای پهلوی برای گذار است، نوعی دستورالعمل برپایی استبداد از طریق مدیریت بحران است. داره میگه دفترچه برای برپایی استبداده.
این فقط پست آقای رضا یعقوبی رو فوروارد کرده اون تو، نصر خودش نیست. آفرین.
میدونم ولی به نظر من فکر کنم اینو براش فوروارد کردن که ادای اینو در بیارن که بگن که علیه دفترچه بوده.
یعنی تاریخش دقیقاً ساعتش 11:20 روز قبله که همچنان ما اینترنت رو ساعت 10 قطع کرده بودیم.
خیلی خب، پس اینم جعلیه، این قبلیش هم جعلیه، این قبلیش هم ضد پهلویه.
ببین دقیقاً اینو باید در نظر بگیریم که این تئوریه، ثابت نشده، نمیتونیم بگیم این اتفاق افتاده یا نه، ولی مسئله اینه که ما
به نظر میرسه. ولی پس قبول داری که این